All right, welcome back to House of Prep. My name is Jerry. It's good to see you guys today. Hope you guys are having a great morning so far. I want to talk about fear. Now, fear can come in a lot of different shapes and sizes and events, right? But it could be a mouse. Who here is afraid of a mouse? That comes, you're in the kitchen, you're cooking, and all of a sudden a mouse runs across the floor. Are you the kind that jumps up on the counter and screams bloody murder? Or do you just kind of shrug your shoulders and it's just something that normally happens? What about a bug, cockroach? What about a snake, a spider? Everyone has different fears. I have a little list I kind of created. This isn't all the fears of life, but these are real fears. These are fears that we're facing today, in our lifetime, this week, this month, this year, for a while now. And I wanted to discuss some of these things. Now, if you have some other ideas of some fears and things, hey, throw them out there too. If you've got some other thoughts that's on your mind. What's the first obvious one? We talk a lot about food. The fear of not having food, not just for ourselves, but for our kids, our families, our loved ones. The fear. Now, let's talk about fear for just a second and how it motivates us. Now, we don't want to live in fear. Okay, that's not what we promote here. We don't promote fear. I try to stray people from that. However, some people need a little bit of fear to get them kick-started. That's just reality. I remember as a child, my fear of my dad coming home from work if I had been bad that day. I'm motivated to do some things or to not do some things because of some fear. So it's okay to have a little bit of fear if that kind of motivates you and gets you pushed in the right direction to get prepared. So that's okay. Now, what I don't want is us to live in fear or to react out of fear. Who remembers that toilet paper run, the shortage? Had a lot of great comments and a lot of great activity on the last video I made. It was a couple days ago. Posted it Thursday, I think, actually. Time's flying by. So one of the things I saw someone reminded me was that run that was on there. Now, that was out of fear. And when they made that run, you could see, like the picture shows on my thumbnail, there was actually a lot missing. A lot of people had a hard time finding what they needed because they didn't prepare ahead of time. So food is the obvious one, okay? And we'll kind of retract back to this all when we get to the end. Loved ones seriously ill or even dying. Yeah, that's something that we do. We have some loved ones maybe with some medical conditions that they've been dealing with for years. All it would take is a little push of the wrong illness and it puts them over the edge. And I've seen that in my church. I've had friends that were elderly that are no longer with us, and there is a fear that people are worried about losing loved ones, and that is a real fear. Shootings. Have you been watching the news? No one, not even the police, are safe from shootings. There's innocent children can be victims of shootings. Adults can be victims of shootings. Here in my local town that I live in, there was, I believe she was military, and she had a dispute and was shot just this past weekend. And today, as I'm taping this video for tomorrow morning, right now it is Monday, and they're having a large funeral procession, and it's going to run through a few of the small cities. And so shootings, it's a real thing. It's a real fear. It really is happening. Some people like to hide, their head in the sand, and they don't want to believe that it's possible, but it's a reality. It's happening. Look, not enough money for retirement. Have you been watching the stock market? The fear of the stock market crash, right? Hey, if you remember years ago, and remember when the big bubble burst and the housing bubble burst, and now it's been some years ago now, but there was kind of a crash of everyone's 401ks and the stock market going down. And so you can kind of look at that two ways. That's a great time to invest when it goes down. But if you have everything and you're getting ready to retire and it all goes down and So there's some positives and negatives to that side, but that's a real fear. People, in the Great Depression era, when the stock market crashed, look, people committed suicide. It was that bad. I mean, it could be a huge event for people's lives. So fear lingers in the minds of some folks on that. The fear of terrorism, with the borders being open and people coming into the country here and there, and whether it's drugs or violent crimes, this and that. The fear of terrorism is a real threat. We're very fortunate we haven't had a large terroristic attack on our country in quite some time. However, it's always looming. There's people that are always wanting to cause division and to cause and have an attack even here in America and other countries. I know that you all face the same thing. War. Again, have you kind of been listening to what's going on? We have a lot going on between Russia and with Ukraine, the United Nations, and now America, and there's which is also kind of hand in hand with the stock market right now. But there's just that fear. A lot of people now are fearful of that. I remember back in the 80s when I was a child growing up, there was always that fear, of the Russia nuclear war, and we always had the drills at school. Am I dating myself here? Yeah, you had the school drew the nuclear drills, and not quite sure, tucking my head, leaning up against the wall and hiding my head. That was going to save me from a nuclear warhead, but I guess it gave us peace. I guess I don't know. I'm not sure, but government corruption. I was reading some articles online, and actually, government corruption worldwide, one of the top fears of the world is their government corruption. That's like that everywhere. It's not just in one country. We don't have a monopoly on that. That's everywhere. It's worldwide, because you're dealing with people, and people that have the corrupt hearts. They have a dark heart, and that have gotten their tentacles inside of politics and the government, and that's a worldwide issue. Okay, and we could sit here all day and talk about that, but we don't. We don't talk about long, lengthy stuff here at House of Prep on that, so be good. Medical bills. A lot of people do have to worry about medical bills. Look, cost of everything's going up, folks. Whether it's food, whether it's garments or hats, or just tires, gas, oil, whatever it is you use in life is going up. Medical bills can be a real issue, especially for those folks that are on a fixed income, and you're trying to figure out how to balance all these new price increases. But that's a real fear. That's a top fear across, I'm sure, the world, but here in America for sure. Widespread civic unrest. Again, just sometimes you feel like we're just living in a powder keg right now, and everybody's walking around with matches. And who's going to strike that match is just going to explode the next powder keg. And that's kind of how it seems. And people are living in fear on that. I was reading a statistic, 45% more people have been dealing with anxiety and fear than a year and a half ago. 45% increase anxiety. That's a real thing. People, afraid to lose their jobs. All kinds of fears. We can sit here and go on and on and on about fear and all the bad news and all the stuff that's going on across our world, our nation. So, look, that's why we prepare. You prepare mentally, and then you prepare physically. You get all of your stuff in order. We can joke about it. We can have fun with it. We can do all these things. But the bottom line is you should be preparing for whatever scenarios. Doesn't matter. It could be hurricanes. It could be storms. It could be winter. The snow and the ice, a tornado comes through your city, just whatever precautions and extra things you need to have. It could be the stock market crash. It could be the shelves not returning back to normal ever. And you just have to always be wondering, do I have enough food? So don't let it get to that point. Build up your insurance policy, stock up enough supplies, have enough items built up that all these things that are just spinning around us, isn't it easy to feel like you're out of control sometimes? That you don't have control over the situation. Well, this is one way you can feel a sense of security and a sense of control, is preparing. Preparing for a grid down, whatever scenario, an EMP attack. All these things, you can get your own setup for your own home, and you can prepare for all these different scenarios and have enough supplies for you and your family. And you pick how long you want to do it. You find your comfort zone. begin a garden. It's wintertime. You look at me. One day it's snowing in the background, one day it's raining, and today it's in the 50s. And here we are in January. I didn't even talk about that. I'm in a short sleeve shirt. It's crazy. This is just the weather, just up and down. So you just don't know what the weather's going to bring, guys. You just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So just prepare. Just get prepared. And hey, look, I appreciate each and every one of you. And just wanted to touch base on this because these are real life things. You're not alone, okay? We're all facing these same things together. I know we got a real good group here. Jump in the comments if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up button. Hey, hit it up. And then I'm going to do a Thursday video, so I'll see you guys on Thursday, all right? And I'll talk to you later. Bye now.